It's time for the mailbag. Lots going on. Abby, where are we starting off?
All right, first one. Based on what we know now, what do you think the starting lineup will be for the offensive and the defensive lines for the spring game?
Well, center Ben Scott, right tackle Benhart, left tackle Prohaska. I don't want to assume, but I think Mazuka would have a good chance to be a guard as long as he kind of gets things cleaned up, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
And Justin Evans Jenkins.
Yep.
Or
Latovsky. Henry Latovsky will have a shot. But, I'm glad you said Justin Evans Jenkins because he was the guy in there after Ethan Piper went down. So, yeah, those would be the guys.
Corcoran is out.
He will not participate.
Spring. Might be out for fall camp. He might be out for the start of the season.
Yeah. Turner Corcoran, that injury is serious.
Changes things.
He will not be in the spring.
Sam Sledge is a dark horse to watch. I do think Sam Sledge could make an impact.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're pretty deep at tackle, not as deep at guard. Yeah, the
two guard spots are the only real question marks right now. And then defense.
Okay, defense, yeah.
Obviously Ty.
Isn't it as simple as Nash, Ty, and
Lenhart?
What about Jamari Butler?
Or Bowler?
It's kind of
depends how you do it. I mean, it depends how you start.
I almost forget about Lenhart.
Boy, I don't.
No, I felt like, I felt like down the stretch of the year.
Yeah, because he was hurt.
He got hurt, and it quieted down for him.
Quieted down.
And I felt like Jamari Butler kind of emerged as the guy they wanted him to be.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned Butler. I mean, Butler's the kind of guy that you could see in a combine. I mean, he's that good. They're really good up front on defense.
Nash, Ty, and then a combination of Lenhart and Jamari Butler.
That's why that 7.5 number that FanDuel put out, when we talk about these guys, I'm glad we talk about it because then you realize, okay, yeah, they're pretty good. Nebraska's pretty good. They got some dudes.
All right, next one. Who is an under-the-radar 2024 recruit that you've got your eye on?
Oh, don't do this to me.
Now I got to pull up the scholarship distribution chart here to make sure I don't forget anybody.
And don't say Dylan Raiola.
No,
he's not under the radar.
Any of those receivers?
I think Quinn Clark's Keelan Smith is definitely.
Keelan Smith's a great one.
Quinn Clark's got a lot of ability and potential, but Keelan Smith, Ian Flynn at tight end intrigues me.
Okay.
I mean, some people had him as a 4-star. I have a hard time saying O-linemen just because I know O-linemen really aren't made to play at a young age right now in college football. On the defensive backfield, I think in the secondary, it's hard to call Mario Buford a sleeper.
He's not a sleeper. That's why it's hard, Abby, because what may be a sleeper to somebody is not a sleeper to somebody else. It's a subjective. So I would say I don't mind. Tamua Preston Tamua does not get talked about that much.
He's a 4-star.
Right. But he's not a guy that comes to the tip of people's tongues very quickly. But we saw in Hawaii, that's a good picture there. He can play.
Yeah, if things at guard kind of go haywire, let's just say something doesn't work with Mazuka and Corcoran's hurt. All of a sudden, like he could be in that. I mean, a young guy would have the opportunity to maybe get in that guard conversation.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily talking about this year, but I think down the line, he looks like a guy that just has starter written all over.
Well, McGahee too. I mean, people forget about him. I mean, there's some talent, but again, it's really hard right now for young players to play.
Just how old, especially on defense, how old they are on defense. I mean, it's a lot of veteran snaps and experience you got to surpass.
There was not a household true freshman name in the Big Ten last year.
Right. Yeah, Sean, I think you're talking macro, and you're right. It's hard to play in the Big Ten as a young guy unless you're really, really precocious and developed.
Yeah, there's no Terrell Pryor or, young freshman guys like that. And the game's older. I mean, these players there's another year of players that are crammed into the rosters right now.
What's sort of interesting is Raiola does have the physique to do it. I mean, he's big. I mean, 6'3", 230. I mean, he's got the size to handle it.
All right, next one. What position group do you think will see the most regression from 2023 to 2024? And which group will see the most progression from last season to this season?
Receiver will see a lot of progress, a lot. It has to. I mean, the leading returning receiver in terms of catches, I believe, would be Alex Bullock, and that's 12. Okay, I mean, the leading Kemp averaged 8.5 yards per catch. That's not going to happen for your leader. He was the leading receiver. He doesn't return. He was the leading receiver, averaged 8.5 yards per catch. That won't happen again. Probably not for the foreseeable future.
I think linebacker is the one that stepped up. I mean, you lose Reimer.
Are you saying step up or step back?
Step back.
Yeah.
You lose Reimer. You lose Henrich, who was a captain. Those are your two biggest leadership guys, or are two of the bigger ones. And then even like a Garrett Snodgrass, depth and experience he brought behind the scenes. I think that's is the position group that took the biggest hit. I mean, Quentin Newsome and Omar Brown, but we can name off the 5 starters in the secondary right now, and I don't feel like that's a big drop off.
Yeah. What about? I mean, you're bringing pretty much everybody back, but what about offensive line? I think regress or progress.
I like. I'm
going to say progress.
I'm going to say progress for sure.
Mazuka for Nuri is basically what you've done.
Right. It doesn't mean it's going to be leaps and bounds better. It was pretty good last year,
but inherently it should be better because you're bringing everybody back.
Yeah, better.
And you have a better schedule.
Yeah, I think we got it. I think receivers would be the receiver positions would be the area you'd expect the most dramatic improvement, numbers wise, the way it looks, the reliability. And then I think Sean's right. Kind of the inside linebacker spots are the one you'll wonder about a little bit.
Think about the O-line and the continuity they could possibly build early by being at home, not playing on the road and sold out Power 5 games to start the year. They could really develop a nice continuity. Like Bryce Benhart has never started a home opener at home.
That helps. All that helps. Now you'd think those guys, Sean, due respect, they shouldn't be affected by going on the road at this.
But it's tough though. I mean, you go on the road with a young quarterback. Think if Dylan Raiola was a starter at Colorado and at Minnesota to start his career.
That would be tough for the quarterback, but for Bryce Benhart, he's 24 years old. I mean, he should be able to handle about anything at this point.
All right, Abby, we got time for one more. What do you have?
Our last one. If you could have dinner with anyone famous, dead or alive, who would it be?
So we've eliminated, like, if you have like a deceased grandparent or aunt or uncle or parent, because that would make it tough. You'd almost be obligated to
celebrity, famous
celebrity.
person.
Okay.
God, this is hard.
I would like to have had lunch with Bob Devaney.
Okay.
I've never obviously met him. I know his son very well. Mike Devaney lives in Phoenix, and did a long, extensive interview with him for my book this summer. But
Bob Devaney,
if I'm staying on Husker lore and topics, Bob Devaney would have been an interesting guy. It would have been a pretty fun guy to have a few cocktails with.
Are we narrowing it to Huskers?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
Anybody?
Abby.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay.
Wow, what a call.
I mean, think about the conversations you could have there.
I was not expecting you to go biblical, Robin.
I mean, just saying, if you're picking one person, it's a pretty big one. You could clear a lot off the docket with that one.
He might have declined my offer. God, Robin, that's a high bar.
I said Bob Devaney. He said Jesus.
Well,
I mean, come on.
Get out of your shell.
Jesus.
Jesus.
We're a sports talk podcast here.
You said anybody.
I know.
Anybody.
Okay, what do you want me to say? Like,
Say a sports guy.
Denzel Washington? Like,
You went from Jesus to Denzel. You have high regard. You have high regard for Denzel.
You can take Jesus to eat at Laszlo's?
yeah, Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I think Jesus would be fine at Laszlo's. Fine.
Yeah,
He'd
you
be
can
fine
do it.
anywhere.
So Denzel?
No. I'm sticking with my answer.
Okay, Jesus. I was just gonna say Muhammad Ali.
You say Mary?
Good one.
Hey, that's a
I
good one.
was gonna say Muhammad Ali. It'd be fascinating.
Okay. Sports, I'll go Lawrence Taylor just because I want to hear stories.
Lawrence Taylor.
Favorite football player all time growing up.
Would Bill Parcells be on your lunch list, or would he be just
he'd
too
be
grouchy?
Too grumpy. With LT, I know I could throw back some cocktails, smoke cigars, and just listen to him talk about his
That could get really out of control.
how wild the 80s were.
Yeah. Ollie, for obvious reasons, I shouldn't have to explain it. He's my all-time favorite athlete.
Makes sense.
But you, Abby.
And you're going to ask me.
Yes.
Don't judge me. But I bet you can guess what I'm going to say.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
And
AJ?
would
Yes.
Kelsey be invited?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Jason, maybe.
Okay, actually, Jason Kelsey is a great pick because I love that dude. He is so funny.
Oh, you like him?
Did you see the picture
He's so
that
funny.
went viral at the Adele concert? Scott and Jordan, our friends, were in the background with Jason Kelsey, like at the same concert at the Super Bowl.
So you might go with Jason Kelsey.
Well, I would put him a close second. I'm still gonna go Taylor because she's an icon and she is a very smart business lady that people don't see that side of her. But
Okay.
I'm sticking with it. But Jason Kelsey is hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
He kind of won the Super Bowl weekend.
Robin won this round, though. Jesus.
Well,
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah.